That was weird. Yes, I'm tinkering on stuff behind the scenes. It happens. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, they're following me. Oh, crap, they do. Cool. Hey, guilty. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, post that again. I'm kind of curious to see what it'll do. Pretty good. Just tinkering with some of the minor stuff in the background. Seeing what all works and what doesn't. Oh, oh, those work. Ah, crap. Just stuff on my head. Get out there. They added that to VTube Studio, so I had to play with it. Yeah, so far, it's the only thing I can do because, well, since I don't have channel points or anything that I can use, I can't really rig up other triggers. But hey, dropping gummies on me. Why not? Oh, just gonna keep throwing it. What the heck is that one? Royal G spin. Okay, that's cool. I haven't seen that one before. I don't know if the animated ones keep animating when they're falling or not. Oh, yeah, they still keep animating. That's just crazy. Let me change the speed of that. Way down here. Config. Yes, the emote dropper. Let's see. There's a speed on here somewhere. Yep, gravity. I'll slow down gravity. Okay. Wish I could slow down gravity for everything. Now this should take a little bit longer to fall. Should. Oh, come on. Yay, scuffness. Glad I'm doing this before I started streaming because the game just decided to disconnect on me. Why are you nutting? Okay. haven't fixed the whole chat box issue, because it's still showing the. For some reason, it still tries to show the announcement thing for Shield, and I can't seem to get rid of that damn notification on it. So I just crop it off instead. So I'm having to look at my tablet to see what's going on in chat. Okay, that's Pandora. Let's speed up. Ooh, wow. Pandora is on crack. Let's see, you got 2 more minutes before it's technically 8 o'clock for me, so. And of course, people are sending me messages on telling them and whatever. And I know I should be starting streaming by now. Where are they starting? Guess I could go to the game window. Just remember, when your phone is in your pocket, don't enjoy the vibrate too much. Because I get like phantom vibrations from my phone half the time anyway. But anyway, let me go over to the wonderfully made game screen. I think it's interesting that they made a cell phone charger that doubles as a hand warmer. Which, makes sense considering how hot those things get anyway. Yeah, I've seen 4 or 5 different companies make them. They're just like the external battery chargers that you can get for a cell phone, but they've got a hand warmer built into them now. Which, as long as it's not made by Samsung, you don't have to worry about it exploding in your pocket. Let's see. Well, yeah, I'm continuing the game from last week. Since you're the first one here, and from what I can tell, since I can't really see the full lists, I guess you're the only one here. I forgot I had that Nightbot message. Anyway, where do we leave off in the game? I've only gone 1 day into the game, back to the town and whatnot. You can hear the game all right, correct? Just kind of mood music in the background at the moment. Maybe the clicks on the control. Microphone adjust real quick. I guess I could turn the music up. Prefer the ambient sounds. Do you hear the music? Is my chat box not refreshing? Is a wild skitty approaching? Chat window's twitching. Okay, well, since it is time, I suppose I shall jump into the game. Now we can hear that all right, right? Or am I just hearing things? That rooster is noisy. Oh, I caught the skitty. There's the dog barking. Everyone hear that fine? I hope. I'm gonna guess you are. Because it is loud to me. Okay. Summer morning. Oh, I'm not singing. Not singing! We were halfway through the forest when I realized we were walking towards the logging site. Quick character sheet scan. Okay. Pretty neutral on most of your friends, except Anya, who's loyal, and the Pushka is sympathetic to you. Pushka is the forest, so. People are protesting logging. They clearly knew about your family. Okay. Spiritual is 6, analytical is 4, cunning is 2, inspiring is 1, brave, well, not brave yet. You are American. You are a student. You are 24, and your name is Mia Bordich. Currently, you have a few friends. Bartek, Kim, Lisa, Olga. Let's see, we have... Zero rage, 2 willpower, and 3 health to start this section off. And we are going to the protests and activists and answers, since it's the only way we can go. Against the machines. Zero rage, the option is. As I walked towards the logging site, I noticed that there were more people heading that way. A police car, a couple of SUVs, a TV truck, young people on bicycles, a green Land Rover from the Forest Services. When I got to the site, it felt utterly surreal, like I'd stepped into a movie set. Anya looked around. So, what's the plan? Alright, chat. First decision of the night. Do you stop the logging? Do you have to learn about your family? Or do you need to find someone? Is my chat going? Hello? Change my setup so I can see what's going on. Okay. Options are stop the logging, learn about my family, or I needed to find someone. Anyone? Anyone? Fry? Wait, am I falling off the screen? I'm not. Oh, I did fall off the screen. Okay. One, two, or three. My body lies over the ocean. My body lies over the sea. I don't know how to make a poll, so an answer would be good for me. um, okay, chat. What's the plan? Do we stop the logging? Do we have to learn about my family? Or do I need to find someone? Hello? Hello? Hey, it's Sloop. So, this game is fairly interactive. So, we're at a scene where the main character, her, is, well, honestly, she's a werewolf and she's trying to find out about her family. She does not know she's a werewolf yet. She just knows that she was called to the forest by dreams. This is the second day of her being there, and people told her that she needed to go to the protest area to find out who she wanted to talk to. So, Her friend is asking if they're there to stop the logging, if they're there to learn about the family, or if they need to find someone. So, I was leaving it up to chat to make the decision. So, do you have a preference? Are you there to stop the logging? Are you there to learn about your family? Or are you needing to find someone? Learn. Okay. The guilty wolf barked first. I need to figure out how my family fitted into all this. Look around. Spiritual. I looked around. On my right was the ancient forest. On my left was the freshly torn clearing. Ahead of me, ruining the view, were huge logging machines and a group of people arguing in their shadow. I thought the machines were sucking the life out of the air, like they were a wound, not just pieces of machinery. Do you check out the clearing? Check out the machines? Or look at everyone else? Alright, we look at people. There were people there too. The loggers were sitting idly on the tree trunks, sharing cigarettes. The police that stood between them and a colorful group of protesters were visibly uneasy and twitchy. I saw some reporters who were clearly bored because no one was doing anything interesting. The harvesters loomed over the clearing, reeking. I saw a familiar face among the protesters. Olga was arguing with a man in his 30s who looked vaguely military. The protesters were clearly conflicted. Maybe you should solve the conflict? They clearly needed some advice, or it could be fun. Fun? Alright. I went closer, looking for a laugh. This could be fun to watch. One of the police officers, young and nervous, said something I didn't fully understand. Do you let your friend Anya handle it, or do you just smile? This is the first time I'm going to have to use voices for tonight. Let Anya handle it. Okay. Anya flashed her best smile and flooded him with Norwegian. He smiled back. Oh, he said, you're one of them. And then let us go. And then I noticed that someone joined us. And then I noticed that someone used to use the commotion to sneak with us past the police. A girl with disheveled, bleached-out hair. Don't worry, she patted the officer on the arm. It was an awful pickup line anyway. He recalled. You shouldn't touch me, ma'am. You roll your eyes or do smile. Smile? Okay. I smiled at her and wanted to say something, but I was interrupted. Pat! Some guy called her from the gathering. Could you come here? I need you to show Olga this chart. She sighed, reaching into her backpack and taking out a tablet. And they're at it again, she murmured under her breath and winked at me. Coming! We went to the activists. As I walked towards Olga, I heard more and more of the argument. Olga, you can't. The man was speaking with a strong German accent. Pat stood next to him with her tablets. She looked a bit amused. Do not fucking tell me what I can and can't do, Colonel, Olga interrupted. I can because they're destroying our mother. I can fight with all the means at my disposal, even if that means burning those harvesters to the ground. A slender, green-eyed man was standing near her. He took a few steps back, went towards one of the harvesters, turned his back on all of us, and pissed on the machine. Olga smirked. Ah, Daniel, you know how to bring the point home. He looked at her, confused. Colonel raised his eyebrows. Burn the harvesters, Colonel asked calmly. In this drought? Olga, are you out of your mind? You know what I mean. We fight them any way we can, because this is a fucking war, she spat. He sighed. You've never real seen war, and it shows. Nobody's shooting at us, and believe me, we want it to stay that way. We need a peaceful protest. I approached Olga. Hi, we need to talk, I said, approaching Olga. Listen, I'm in the middle of something here. Can we talk later? In the middle of something? Normally I would wait for them to finish, but it was important. I looked at them both, Olga with her fury and passion, and Colonel with his cool, professional demeanor, and shared, without any reservations, what I felt about the situation. Do you say there was a fine line to tread? It wasn't about personal victory. Or do you mock them both? I'm sorry, don't forget, Helen. Yes, a fine line. Oops. How did it escape? I just thought. No, it's not. There's a fine line to tread, I said in the silence. You don't want the protesters to be painted as terrorists, and you don't want them to be treated as irrelevant and ignored. Kim shook her head and moved forward. I observed them curiously. Olga, darling, you know I love you, but Colonel really knows what he's doing. Please trust me on that one. They looked at her apologetically. Fuck off, Kim. You don't even trust me enough to come here on your own when I asked you to. Lisa decided to say something. So I could have put a language warning on the stream. Oh well. Lisa looked them straight in the eye. She had a peculiar accent. Kim, you want me to teach you about violence? She looked at them straight in the eye. About fighting oppression? Just because your boss went to, what, one mission in Afghanistan? Her Polish was peculiar, kind of mellow. Colonel winced. Lisa, leave Kim alone. He didn't... What the hell? He didn't know what to say. And that's the first disconnect of the night. Cool. And it seemed that the whole discussion would be derailed. Maybe it was for the best, and I didn't let that happen. This game disconnected like 3 or 4 times last week. Luckily, it was easy to fix. Don't let it happen. Hey guys, the forest, I said. The logging, the protest. Olga unclenched her fists. Colonel looked back at her and chuckled softly. You almost punched me. The conversation was over, at least for the time being. Colonel, together with his cronies, walked towards the armed porters, while Olga went back to the group of people standing in the shadow of an old oak tree. I looked at the forest. Vuska is sympathetic. I looked at Vushka, the clearing full of felled trees like a gaping, bleeding wound in the chest of a friend. I had to do something. 1 point of rage! Rage! I looked at my friend. We have to stop this logging. Yes, just like Olga said, Anya nodded, excited. What they are doing is unforgivable, and we must have to fight. I looked at one group, then at the other. The harvesters were dripping with black oil, and the forest stood tall, serene, and full of golden light. It seemed like it could protect itself, and then I looked at the felled trees, dead, limp, and helpless. So which way do you go? Do you go to the protesters, or do you go to the harvesters? Are we going for answers? Are we going for answers? Are we going for diplomacy? Answers? Answers, anyone? Do you talk to the fiery Olga, or do you talk to the irrational Grundle? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Looks like we're going to go talk to Olga. No pasaran. As we approached, Daniel pricked his ears. I could have sworn they moved. Hello, fellow humans, he grinned at us. I felt Olga's eyes on me. So what the fuck are you doing here, she asked. I stood there, and when she stood there with her arm wrapped around the waist of another woman, it was Lisa. She winked at me and mouthed, "It's okay." Do you not like being treated like that? Do you need answers? What was that argument about? Or I came to help. I just like Daniel's answer. Hello, fellow humans. That gets explained in a little bit. And I should point out, when it has this on here, you gain a point of rage, which makes you a little bit harder to control yourself. If you're low, or depending on what level you are up here, it will give you different options down here sometimes. But if you need answers, you need answers. Lisa said you could answer my questions, I shot back. Yeah, you're that young American looking for her roots. She didn't look amused. I guess we have to talk. Lisa nudged her. See, honey, I told you, it's obvious. Olga rolled her eyes. I had more time to look at her now. She was wearing combat trousers, sandals, and there was a small silver double-bladed axe hanging on a string around her neck. The Labrys, a lesbian feminist symbol. She wasn't hiding where she stood. Back to the important question. Why was she so jumpy? And what was her plan? Do I look like the kind of wolf who has a plan? Okay. back to the important question. What's going on here? I asked. Lisa said you could help me. Isn't it obvious? Her laugh was bitter. Your grandfather ran away and left his debt to the Puska unpaid. It was supposed to guard her. Since you're here, you can make it right. She seemed to believe it. And we get 1 willpower. I looked at her skeptical, but he seemed to believe it. The question is, she looked at me and she paused, will you do it? Before I could answer, there was a commotion, a change of mood. Olga stiffened and looked over my head. The police were coming. The police were coming our way. The young guy in the uniform who'd let me through looked like he wanted to be somewhere else. Officers, Olga said, hissing the words through her teeth. Ma'am, said the officer, whose round face was adorned by a mustache that looked like a shoe brush. Disperse! Do you get ready to fight? But I wasn't easy to intimidate, or do you try to de-escalate? Yes, Sleep, you are cute. Just let it be known, you're cute. Oh no, the fuzz! And you're stopping stuff on me. Fight? Okay. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck them. Okay. Disperse, repeated the officer. I glanced around, looking for a suitable cover. Don't panic, Lisa whispered in my ear as I took a step back. We're not in the States. They don't have guns. Ooh, that's a burn. I looked at the cops, disgusted, which will give you a rage point. I braced myself, or I faltered, which takes away a rage point. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck them. Okay. Stop singing. You brace yourself. Okay, we will go with that. I stood shoulder to shoulder with the other protesters as the officers started to approach. The cop reached for a megaphone. You are trespassing on private property and are in danger to public order. I could feel the adrenaline starting to surge in my veins, and suddenly everything was calm and clear, almost peaceful. I must have moved, but I didn't feel it. And there I was, right in front of the officer. The forest wasn't private. I tried to read the scene, or I watched them. Thanks. The People's Forest. Da da da. Okay. Forest wasn't private. This is not private property, I exploded. This is the forest. It belongs to everyone. Just because you treat this place as your own backyard doesn't mean... The officer went red, and then white. Shut up or I'll have you arrested for disturbing the peace, he yelled. He took 3 steps forward and stood nose to nose with me. And then, all hell broke loose. I was well prepared. When the police came, I was ready. I ducked, I kicked, I swung a broken branch I picked up from the ground. The Lorax. Oh, now the auto shout-out pops up. Okay. Was it a partial success? Or do you come out unscathed? One will lose you a bit of health, the other will lose a bit of willpower. you gonna fight? Fight, 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 fight. Okay, you're going to go with partial success. Oh, cool, got an achievement. Nice. You fought with the police. Haha. Cool. Okay. I enjoy a brief moment of victory, but then the reinforcements came and started macing the crowd. Ouch. I heard harsh, menacing voices. I heard screams. I heard people running toward one another. The police crashing into the protesters. Some of them fought back, some turned and ran, and some sat down on the ground, only to be dragged away. I was blinded. Someone suddenly grabbed me from behind. I tried to free myself, but couldn't. I looked down at the hands that were holding me. Don't do anything rash, said Olga, dragging me away. You've done enough already for today. The woman who wanted to start a fight, dropping stuff in my head again. Kept silent. I didn't know whether it was a praise or a rebuttal, and I didn't dare to ask. The ugly truth. Hey, we all got it. Cool. I have no idea how I ended up on the way back to the village. My eyes were red, I had a runny nose, and my throat hurt from screaming. In the whole commotion, I lost Anya from my sight. I was alone, or so I thought. Hey, let me help you, a voice behind me said, and I jumped. A woman was looking at me with concern. What happened? I got maced, which will give you rage. I was fine, which keeps you neutral. And it was too much, which will lose a rage point. You got maced. You want the rage. I see how you are. I got maced, I croaked. She rummaged in her backpack, clearly prepared for such a situation. Here, she said, I have milk. You should wash your eyes. It works better than water. Oh, wash your eyes out with milk? Weird. Well, I guess it would, neutralize. Oh well. We walked back towards the village, and we talked. The press is sympathetic. I learned that she was an independent German reporter who'd come here about a month ago. Her name was Erica. So why are you protesting the logging? She asked after a few minutes of small talk. She was prepared for macing, apparently. I guess reporters are better trained. For personal reasons? We have to save the pushka. Or honestly, I had no idea. Germans carrying around milk in their purses. Hey, who's going to complain? Does she have cookies too? I mean, if you're carrying milk, you might as well have cookies. Milk and cookies for a protest. Perfect timing. Pushka! I think the pushka is unique, and when I saw how many trees they've cut in just one afternoon, it broke my heart. I said, still shaken by the sheer number of the fallen trees. I have to do whatever I can to save the forest. I looked at her. And why are you asking? Maybe that's why. I think all the dad's been hanging out with German reporter women. She looked at me with renewed interest. Do you know why they're cutting down the trees? She asked back. Because you do know the logging is done by a government company, the state forests? Answers, the fuckers. But why? And I had no idea. I think I chose the fuckers last time I was here. But why? Why are they doing this? I wasn't sure if I understood. Shouldn't the state forests take care of the forest that was healthy? Erica reached for her notebook. It all started with the spruce bark beetles. Erica looked at her notes and started explaining the whole situation. That year, the beetles' infestation was of catastrophic proportions, and the foresters decided that the only way to stop it and save the rest of the forest was to cut down as many infested trees as fast as possible. And since you two weren't here last time when I told you this is actually based off of real events. I think it was 2014 when there was a spruce bark beetle infestation in the in the forests there. The United States had it as well. If you go in, I think in Colorado, if the forest beetles get into the trees, it'll essentially turn veins inside the tree blue. It's really kind of cool looking. Oh well. Anyway, was cutting the trees down necessary? But was the logging legal? And couldn't they just remove the dead ones? In the Pacific Northwest? Yeah, I'd believe that. Are you sure this is legal? But is the logging legal? I wanted to know. Opinions differ, but such a massive logging in an ESCO listed area might be illegal, Eric answered. I don't remember what an ESCO means. No. Was cutting down trees necessary? And couldn't they just remove the dead trees? Dead. Maybe if they removed the dead trees, the infestation wouldn't spread? I tried to find a solution. They might do that, but dead trees are what make the forest unique, Erica smiled. There are 20 times more species living on a dead spruce tree than on a live one. Well, I figured that much. I said I don't remember what it stood for, but I remember what it is. I meant, like, the acronym. Was cutting down the trees necessary, since it's the only option we have? Is cutting down trees the only way to stop the infestation? I was confused. The foresters state that this is the only way. This is the way. She said, some biologists argue that they're cutting the wrong trees and doing it too late to change anything. Did they have to intervene at all? Couldn't they just leave Puska alone and let nature take its course? I asked. That's one of the options, Erica admitted. But there's a drought, and no one is sure if the forest would survive on its own. The situation was more complex than I had thought, and Erica's answers did nothing to clear the picture. What was the truth? You have to understand her point of view. You can't handle the truth. I don't have a sense motive on this one, unfortunately. Unless you meant was that the truth. Okay, you going for two? Lots of willpower. I know you're friendly to the press. I see what you're trying to show me, the whole picture, and I appreciate it, I said. I just hope there would be an easy answer. I'm just doing my job, Erica shrugged. I describe all aspects of the situation to you, but it's up to you to decide what you want to do. It was a tough decision. I shook my head. Why did the situation always have to be so complex? At least I was sure that they were cutting down the trees, and Pushka needed my help. I don't have to explain myself. What happened to the wood? And what else could I do? Got wood. What else could I do? I don't know what else I can do, I sighed. I might not see the whole picture, but I prefer acting to denial. I tried I tried not to show how scared I was. She looked skeptical. You're not the only one feeling helpless, she sighed. I'm just helping you make an informed choice. I didn't want to listen, so what was right and what was wrong? I said nothing. That is a noisy crow. So what was right and what was wrong? So what should I do when I feel that something is wrong? I asked, exasperated. Do you believe that people can be evil? She asked back. Evil. Some people were bad. We could do bad things for sure. Bad or naughty? Some can be bad. Okay. Some people do really shitty things, I shrugged. But is it just their actions or their nature? I said nothing. What's the matter? She asked. Do you tell her about your anger? Do you admit feeling helpless? Or do you share your fear? Admit you feel helpless. I felt so helpless when I saw all that. I took a deep breath. Then I remembered what Olga had told me. All that mystical stuff. And they said that I have family debts to pay. I shook my head. It's a lot to take in, and there was that foul smell back there. She looked at me with a weird expression. What smell? Smell was not the point. Or how come she didn't smell it? Do you smell what the rock is cooking? How come she didn't smell it? Inquiring wolves want to know. You didn't smell it? The harvesters reeked of something like meat that's been rotting in acid, only worse. I couldn't even find the words to describe it, but the memory of the foulness still clung to the back of my throat, swimming in my sinuses. Ew. I know what you're talking about, she answered slowly, but I don't think everybody can smell it. I looked at her and raised my eyebrow questioningly. You'll learn in your own time if you stay here long enough, she said, clearly wanting to drop the topic. What did she mean? And I let it go. Those are somewhat expressive. Cool. To again. Lose that rage. I shrugged. Cryptic remarks never did anything for me. The situation was complicated enough as it was. I just hoped I hadn't made things worse. Sorry, Guilty, you're too late on that one. You get the next one. We walked on in silence. Time to regroup. Enya came back soon after me. I lost sight of you, she said apologetically. I'm glad you made it back in one piece. So, how was your day? I'll go and do one on this one because you put one. Well, I got maced. I got maced, I grinned. It was my first time. Do not recommend. 1 out of 5 stars. Oh shit, are you alright? And you asked. I'll live. Okay, now I'll do 2. Did you know the government supported the logging even when it was illegal? I shared my dismay. Anya looked solemnly and nodded. Yeah, I've read about it. Why didn't you tell me? Well, you have a lot going on, she shrugged. We're going to go through all these, so just choosing the order at the moment. Next big decision, I'll let Guilty call it. So which one you hear next? Or you can cut it short and do the that's all I wanted to share. Man, I keep hearing the barking in the game and I want to look around. What is a mini? I still have no idea what a miniature is. Oh well. Hey. Oh, never mind, that was the game that did it. So, fought with the police. I got a few bruises, I said, and thought an explanation was due. I fought with the police. You did what? What? And you were shocked. You know how it is. Sometimes things just happen. I smiled shrewdly. Met a lot of people. Just going to cover all these just to get it out of the way. I met some interesting people, I said, still excited. Yeah, they looked like a colorful bunch, and you grinned. Maybe you could introduce me later? They sure are passionate. They argue between themselves more than they argue with the loggers, I added. That's all sharing for the day. I just shrugged. Just another day in Beloetza. We sat for a while in silence. You know, there's more to see here than Beloetza, Anya said from her own travel guide. Porgozis, Budi, Terminsky, Zerlonka. There's something interesting in every village. An open-air museum, some kind of folk university, the bison. I didn't know they had bison in Europe, but okay. Maybe you would like to see something more than logging? Couldn't see everything? Okay. It would be great if I could see everything, but I can't, I shrugged. I want to focus on the logging, even if I'm missing something else. And how's the search of your roots going? Anya couldn't stay silent for long. Man, the sound effects are distracting sometimes. I like hearing the chirping birds, though. It wasn't something you wanted to discuss. I don't really want to talk about it, I admitted. Anya is loyal, yes. I understand, Anya nodded her head. That kind of stuff can be rough. I was tired. I just sat there, looking through the window. The day had been full on, and I was exhausted. I didn't notice when I fell asleep. Cue the dream sequence. I could do anything. It's quiet now, yet I know deep down inside that something isn't right. Do you run? Do you keep walking? Or do you sneak? Yes, I'm being weird. You sneak? Lost that ridge point? I'm sneaking through the forest to the logging site. It's getting dark. The light seeps away as though there are millions of tiny punch holes in the sky through which it can escape. And then the darkness starts to pour in. Do you welcome the darkness? Or I know what I will see. And my model's mouth is twitchy. That's weird. Turn up the sensitivity. You welcome the darkness? Are you guilty, werewolf? It's thick, oily, snake-like. It wraps around my ankles, caresses my wrists, then takes my hand and leads me to the site. It's full of maimed bodies. They're all trees, fallen trees, still alive, yet struggling for air. And then there's the stench. I see movement in the darkness, but I'm not alone. You see movement. I see shapes moving in the darkness. They have long skeletal arms. They are wrapped in glistening black intestines, and each arm has a wide, gaping mandible, full of whirling blades. They snap at me blindly. I feel righteous anger burning through me like molten lava bubbling from the ground. Through my feet, up my legs, through my chest, to my head. I point at the monsters. My friends watch, and I bask in their rage. I howl the sentence. I howl out the death sentence, and we run towards the monster shapes. We bite off heads and tear off arms. We are an executioner's axe, unflinching. And then I wake up. I gasped and bolted upright. I was alone. The sun was setting, and in the deep red light of the room looked like it was bathed in blood. My pillow and duvet were on the ground, and I was sweating bullets. Okay. I looked at my legs. When did they become so hairy? I could have sworn I'd shaved them that morning. Remember, werewolf girls, hairy legs. Get used to it. Yay, we finished the chapter. Chapter 3, Standoff. I need to talk. I thought about going back to sleep, but I couldn't. Since I'd arrived in this village, I felt like I was falling down a rabbit hole, or rather a wolf's den. My dreams were getting more and more vivid, and I was scared. I needed to talk it over with someone I trusted. Kim seemed okay. She's sympathetic. Anya is loyal. Problem is that you don't trust anyone. I will go ahead and go with 2, since Guilty said 2. And Anya is loyal. She's pretty chill about everything. I come here with Anya, and despite all the strange things I'd done, she still stuck with me. I messaged her, and she messaged me back. I'm on a walk. Come join me. The sun had just set, and the moon wasn't up yet. I started walking. The forest loomed on the horizon. The activist camp was somewhere there. We met near the shop in Beloessa. It was a characteristic enough point and easy to get to from anywhere in town. What is it? Anya asked. She looked worried. Something strange was happening to me? Or something strange was happening here? Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there. Telling me I've got to beware. Time to stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody looks going down. I swear there's a song for every occasion. And I just know too many songs. But for a wolf of many words, I should know a lot of songs, right? Right. Sloop, if you're there, you can pull this one if you want. Or we can wait for Guilty to come back. Or if any of the lurkers out there would like to enter an answer, you can. Because, well, I'm just the one in control of the controller. I'm letting you guys make the decisions. I like this controller. It's cool. Oh, 2 again. Something strange is happening here. I don't think there's something really strange happening here. With all the people in the forest, I'm scared, Anya. There is something strange happening, she nodded, but I have no idea what it is. I know even less than you. She frowned. Maybe we should go to your new friends, the activists? She smiled a little, they are weird. They must know something. Weird friends. The best kind. It was an option, or she had the best ideas. Option? Best ideas. And he is pretty chill about this whole thing. Ouch. Ugh. So, was an option, or she had the best ideas. Oh, it was an option. Okay. I mean, they sure know things, but I'm not sure if I trust them. You know what they say, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. She smiled and started walking. Let's go. I'm sure they're not sleeping. We went to the activist camp. All together right now. The camp had a different vibe than the logging site protest. There were more people there. We looked around, trying to take it all in. They're coming, they're coming, Anya laughed, excited. The people in the camp seemed quite cheerful. The smells were intriguing. I watched them for a moment, and someone was singing. Oh god, this is going to make me sing if you choose that one. I don't know. I'm complaining about singing. I do it randomly anyway, but still. You're gonna make me sing. I knew it. I heard 3 or 4 girls singing together in a unique Eastern European style called the White Voice. It was the most melodic throaty growling that I can do. I listened for a moment. I stopped and just got lost in the music for a long while. People were milling about, setting up camp, cooking, preparing posters. Everyone was busy. I looked around. I definitely needed to talk to someone about what was going on and about what I felt. I needed to see the colonel, or Olga was there as well. Olga. The colonel, he's a nice guy, really. Olga, she's a bit of a bitch. Okay, I gotta do that. Will my sounds work? Will it work? I have to try it. No, I don't care about the text to speech. She was a bit of a bitch. Play it. Play it. Play it. Very delayed. There we go. Okay. Okay. Just because I have to hear it. Not one of my best, but still not bad. So, are we going to see the colonel? Or are we going to go talk to Olga? Okay, who are you? How did you find me? Hey, Silver, what's up? So we are in the protesters camp right now, deciding who to talk to. We can go talk to the clearly slightly military grounded guy colonel, or the or Olga, who's well Olga. And those of you who don't know me, I'm typically a storyteller. I do play games from time to time, like this one. Normally I play Skyrim a lot, but this one is a character-driven one that I decided to do an event to let the chat decide which path we are taking. So, and it's pretty much a choice-driven story. So it's essentially choose your own adventure, apocalypse style. So, this is our current character sheet. We're playing a character named Mia Borodvich. Yeah, this does get to be a little slow, which is why I end up talking to myself a lot while playing it, honestly. But the role playing game is based during a real life event that happened in 2014, I believe, when there was a beetle invasion of the old growth forest in the Poland and Germany area. Kind of like what Sloop is pointing out that's going on in the upper northwest right now. Which is strange. Whenever I play this and make my own decisions, I literally get my own character sheet because it's describing me perfectly. But this one, this is what chat's giving me so far. And we haven't even gotten to character, well, species type or anything else like that. This is just filling the character sheet out as we go. So, but this is one of two of the Werewolf the Apocalypse games that I've played. I got the demo on this one first, but I was one of the Kickstarter backers for the other one. As well as one of the books, but that's just I got my name in the book. I was happy, even if it was in the special things section. But this is essentially a culpable college students that are using it as an excuse to work on their language skills, and instead of going with a regular tour group from the college, they went here. I haven't done any of the Vampire the Masquerade ones though, but I've played it in old chat rooms, but and like the first LARP I did was Vampire, but I was also the Nosferatu who got the plague and tried to kill the prince. That was crazy. It was fun. Hey, Ryder. Yeah. So, okay, everyone, since you're here, one or two. Ooh, well, I'll have to say vampire more often. Two, okay. We will speak to Olga. Olga spotted me right away. Well, hello again, she greeted me. I didn't expect to see you here so soon, actually. She gave me a long, hard look. I didn't expect to see you again at all. Two on this one? You want the rage? Okay. I snapped at her. Good fucking evening to you, too, I snapped. It didn't help. She said nothing, instead just watching me curiously. What brings you here, kid? She asked after a beat. Are you angry and confused? You are confused. Good to know. I'll have to remember that. I'm confused, I answered. Is it really true? I mean, the stories you told me about my past in the forest. There's nothing to be confused about, she shook her head. It's perfectly clear that the government will destroy this unique forest if someone doesn't stop them. And you have your obligation to fulfill. She broke off and bit her lip. What do you want to do about it? Want to smash? Or I didn't want to get anything violent. By the way, I think that's your character back there. No, that's the main character. That's Olga. That's Colonel. Switching to lurk mode. All right, well, enjoy the lurk. And, so, option one, option two. Option 1. Option 2. Do you want to smash things, or will you lose willpower? You want to smash? I want to do something, I said. Anything. I want to feel like I'm doing something that has a meaning, that will change what happens. I feel like I could smash those harvesters with a hammer. Do you have a hammer? I had a family debt to pay. I couldn't be just an observer anymore. She looked at me. Her eyes were a weird color, like deep, dark honey or molasses. I might, she said, but I need your support because Colonel will try to push his own agenda. They wanted to do something that night, but after a whole day's discussion, they were still divided on what to do. 3 for one opinion, 3 for the other. I saw no reason to back up Colonel. Oh, the only option given is Olga's plan, which is the opposite of what I chose last time, so I don't know what's going to happen. Cool. Olga is sympathetic. Oh, and we unlocked Hooligan. You bunch of hooligans. With a little help from my friends, I get trash with a little help from my... I voted for direct action, and soon we were on our way to the logging site. We had some harvesters to deface. And you tagged along? Alright. Go ahead, yeah. She's pretty cool. This is so exciting, Anya whispered. I've never done anything so illegal. Sheltered child. We were just a group of dark silhouettes running through the night. The moon was hidden behind the clouds. I wish there was more light. I walked carefully, or I hid in the shadows. Up. Yeah, I'm sorry the chat doesn't show up very well on the screen, but... Oh, you're going to hide in the shadows. Cool. I had to crop it because it keeps putting up that stupid shield thing. I was glad about it, gracious for the shadows that were hiding us. A new moon would have been better, which would be -1 rage, but we only have the one option, so... What's the rage? Of course, I would have preferred a new moon. A total darkness, so that nobody saw us. But beggars can't be choosers. We soon reached the logging site. Mission progress. We soon reached the logging site, and I knew we were only there because I voted for direct action. I made the difference. Olga stood in the middle of the clearing, looking at the harvesters. She had a backpack on her shoulder. When she moved, I heard a metallic clatter coming from inside it. Let's get going, she said. She looked different in the dark. She seemed more angular, broader. I couldn't wait, or suddenly had second thoughts. I know what she's doing. Let me check something real quick. Yeet. Okay, nothing changed. This is a hard choice. Do you want destruction, or are you second-guessing yourself? See, that's the thing. I'm letting chat choose. Because honestly, when I played this game by myself and sold it, I went with the Colonel. I haven't done the violent option yet. So, do you choose violence? Ooze. What the heck is an ooze? Okay, no second guess. Suddenly I realized that I was about to break a number of laws with people I barely knew. But it was too late to back out now. Olga reached into her backpack. She tossed something my way. It wasn't a hammer, but a can of spray paint. Red. I grinned at her, or I looked at Enya. Looking at Enya? Okay. Anya and I exchanged glances and nodded. We were ready. I glanced over my shoulder and saw Colonel staring at me. This was a mistake. He shook his head and turned away. Do you let it slide, or do you ask him to elaborate? Okay, let it slide. He looked at me as if he expected me to say something, but I didn't take the bait. Olga noticed the tension between us. People know that I'm right, she said, looking at Colonel straight in the eye. You should have noticed that the first time you came here. Your plan will destroy lives, he answered. I asked him to stop, or I took a step back. Take a step back. Pat sighed, exasperated. Yeah, you know something about that, don't you? He turned to her, surprised, with a hurt expression, but before he could answer, Olga interrupted. Let's get on to it. We sneaked on. Be careful and quiet, said Lisa. She also looked different. There was camo face paint on her broad cheekbones. There were some guards nearby. I'll take care of them. And with that, she left. Take care of them? The harvesters loomed in the night, now more than ever reminding me of some distorted, terrible creatures, straight from horror movies. Their black cables glistened and pulsed in the moonlight, and their stench hit me like a slap to the face. I shook the can. I shook the can and let go of the first blotch of paint. It landed on the side of the harvester. For a moment, I thought the machine shuddered like I'd wounded it. A sudden wave of fear rose in my throat. It would turn. It would crush me. I shook off that feeling. I planned the work carefully. I focused on my senses. Or I kept looking over my shoulder. Nothing there. Oh! You game. Okay. 2. Focus on my senses. I didn't know I had a socials command. Oh well. The stench was fouler here. Something must have crept underneath the harvester and died there, I thought. I gritted my teeth and started to work. I couldn't stand the stench, or I blocked the smell. The 0 thing means that you have no rage left. Or which 0 thing are you talking about? like the thing that shows up when I lose signal. Okay, 2. You block the smell. Oh, there it goes. Losing some willpower. Trying to block the smell, I focused on the inside and just started painting whatever shapes came to mind. What are you writing? Lisa asked, joining me. She tried to act cool, but she looked shaken by my graffiti. Just some abstract tags, I murmured, not sure if I was ready to share that they were the symbols of my dream. Don't lie to me, she said. They are pretty explicit and on point. Eventually, our work for the night was done. I wrote, "Save the forest in every language I know," said Anya, evidently proud of herself. And I might also have Google translated a few more. I looked at the defaced harvesters. I was proud of what we'd accomplished, and I contributed to it. Whatever the deal with my family was, I felt like I'd repaid some of the debt. The paint was slowly drying in the hot night air. Shouts in the night. We're getting close. We stopped for just a minute to admire our work, and for that moment everything was quiet and still. The air smelled of spray paint. The harvesters looked stupid and helpless. And then the stillness was broken. Hey, what are you? What the fuck? Oh shit. Shit, panicked Anya. The guards. I cracked my knuckles, which will give you a rage. 0. I tried to calm her down, or lose some willpower, and this wasn't a good moment to panic. I took a deep breath and focused on the rhythm of my heart. It wasn't a good moment to panic and act impulsively. The guards were coming. I saw the silhouettes between the trees, of course. But it wasn't them that caught my attention. It was the trees themselves. The trees had been calling to me since I got here. The trees were on our side. The trees could protect us. They should listen to reason. Let the forest speak through me, or we need to hide. Or as Gildy put it, are you the Lorax and do you speak for the trees? All right. No, spiritual is up to 8. Dang. Okay. I took a step towards the guards. You shouldn't be here, I said, feeling the forest around me. I was more than Maya, I realized. For the man in front of me, I wasn't Maya at all. I was a dark shape between even darker shapes. I was the voice of the forest. Men like you walking in a place like this in the middle of the night. It's unwise. Negotiations. One of them laughed nervously. Is that a threat? Are you threatening us, girl? Olga laughed from behind my back. Oh, you have no idea how threatening we are. I took a step forward. I tried to empathize, or I looked at Olga. Mind you, there's something pointedly clear right now. I'd go home if I were you, I said. You can still have a pleasant evening. A job is a job, said the one closest to me, a grim shape who pointed this flashlight right in my face and eyes. We're calling the police. Don't move. We had to get out of there. I thought about Anya and took a few steps back. We couldn't get involved with the police. This was serious. I told you to move, he shouted. Or what? I asked. He paused, unsure. And in that instant, the phone flew out of his hand. I don't know how Kim got behind him, but they were there, chuckling, mockingly. Oh, sorry, did you want to call someone? The man turned around and punched them right in the face. They didn't even flinch. And then they grabbed the man, lifted him up, and threw him at the other guards. Do you grin and join with the fight? Or is that too much for me and run? Important decision time. You don't use up the last of the willpower. Okay, that's fair. Into the night, they will find you. Da, da. I ran, the air in my lungs boiling, my skin slick with sweat, and the darkness thick around me. I was holding Anya's hand as we pushed blindly through the night. Something was chasing us. We left the shouts and gunshots long behind us, but we couldn't stop. Something was chasing us. Two silhouettes, one lean, the other bulky. I saw them in the corner of my eye as they leaped forward. At first, I thought they were people, but as they leaped, they got longer, and smaller. I couldn't see clearly. It was dark. Sweat was blinding me, and they were hiding behind the trees. I heard growling and howling, and then I saw there were wolves chasing us. Do you try to hide? Do you try to run faster? Or do you stand and face them? You ran. I chase things that run. Easy enough. Try to run faster. Hoping that Anya could run fast enough, I sped up, giving it everything I had. I ran like my life depended on it. And it did. I threw myself into dense bushes, where I ran as fast as I could. Oh, now you've got two choices. You can try to hide, or you can try to run. Now you're going to run. Okay. I heard panting and a snarl, and I doubled my efforts. But I wasn't fast enough. I heard panting and a snarl. I turned around. I looked at the wolves. They looked at me, and I looked at them, and they looked at me. Oh, wait. To be fair, they won. I felt strangely connected to them. And I just started talking. Connected. Okay. Oh, you're up to 9 in spiritual. The Pushka is friendly. Oh, there we go. There's my answer I was looking for. I heard a rustle in the leaves, and then there was a voice in my head. My little thrush. I knew it was the Pushka, and that she was pleased with me. I also knew that thrush meant wisdom. Oh, we're the same, I realized with shock, you and I. The wolves dispersed, and then something happened. Something that I couldn't see clearly. And two people stepped out from the bushes. I knew them both. Olga? Colonel? Colonel, okay. Colonel was cautious. One of us is going to bite you, said Colonel matter-of-factly. I started to run. See? Talking doesn't do shit, Olga said as she lunged at me. I closed my eyes. There was a series of wet cracks, like skin breaking, torn from within my muscles, that suddenly grew, my bones rapidly getting longer, by fur and teeth and claws. When I dared to look, I saw 2 8-feet-tall monsters standing in front of me on the narrow path in the forest. I knew it. Fuck! I gulped. You knew it? Okay, well, we'll go with that. Everything finally clicked. I fucking knew it! And then there was only pain. Bloody Moon. Your health has dropped to 0. You are impaired. Damn, that sounds painful. It is the first time. You get used to it. Bloody Moon. The pain was unbearable. Nothing in my life had prepared me for this. I knew I was dying, or I started laughing. You start laughing? All right then. Blinded by the blood in my eyes and the searing pain in my shoulder and chest, I could only laugh. This wasn't what I'd expected from this trip. You spend so much time planning, only to see your whole life crash and burn. All I could do was laugh. I collapsed. Okay. I stumbled. I fell. The forest caught my fall with a bed of moss and twigs. I stopped thrashing, and a cold numbness engulfed me. Do you give up? Or no, do you try to get up? There goes the last of the willpower. I punched the earth, trying to get some feeling in my hands. I gritted my teeth and tried to get up. I collapsed again. I felt so cold. Suddenly there was light. I looked up. The full moon. It looked different. Luna in all her glory. The moon was a goddess, and she noticed me. Get up, she said. I get up. I feel good. I know that I shouldn't, but I don't remember why. I don't care. Do you stretch? Do you breathe? Or is your mind clear? Your mind is clear, huh? Cool. My mind is clearer than it's ever been before. I see the world in sharp contrasts of black and white, movement and stillness. I smell prey. I hear language in the hooting of owls, the whistling of the wind, and the snarling of wolves. I am what I was born to be. Let's take a look at the character sheet real quick. Yeah, it doesn't say it yet. It has not added the urge to it. Oh well. But damn, look at that spirituality. You're 9 out of 10. Not bad. Okay. So, do you stretch or do you breathe? Do you take a big huff puff? You stretch. Get some of that health back. My muscles are sore and cramped, so I stretch like I've never stretched before. My arms are longer, my legs are stronger, my heart is pumping, and I feel like I've spent my whole life packed inside a box, and I've finally been set free. Then we breathe. I take a breath and feel my ribs and muscles move. The forest smells of blood and fear and excitement. I'm happy. We're so happy because the moon is... I laugh happily, and others' laughter joins me. We laugh and sing to the moon. Something touches my leg. I look down. There's a small, malformed creature sticking something sharp in the muscles of my thigh. The creature disgusts me. Its arms are too short. Its legs bend the wrong way. It's covered with a tangled mass of dead plants and the skins of tortured animals. It reeks of dark things, slimy and decayed. Rip its head off, stick your hand in it, or push it away. In it. Turn it into a puppet. Two flows. Okay. It's time to start the music. It's time to light the lights. I reach out and stick my fingers into the creature's belly. When I pull my hand back, there are strings attached to it. The creature pulls the strings and dances like a marionette, and for a moment, it's funny. Then I lose interest. My ears prick, and I hear more creatures running blindly through the bushes. I feel better. My leg no longer stings, and I feel better than ever before. Pray, hunt! Is this a dream? Is this a real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Maybe it's a dream, I think as I move silently through the undergrowth. The creatures are running away, their backs turned to me. They stumble and shout. Suddenly one of them turns my way. It is terrified. Do you attack? Do you roar? Which, wolves don't roar. Or do you look at it? You just look at it funny. Okay. I look at it, and the creature curls up, shielding its face with its paws. It keeps talking, but the noises make no sense. Do you shut it up? Or do you move on? Move on. It annoys me, but I ignore it and move on. Piercing light burns my eyes. The creatures surround me. They seem to work like a pack. They're dangerous. I fight them all. I strike them one by one. Or I run away. You currently only have one rage and one willpower, so. If they want me, they'll have to. Alright then. Rawr. With a roar, I attack them as they slowly stumble, trying to understand what's happening. There are sharp noises. There are sudden flashes. The air smells of fire and singed hair. It hurts if you got shot. They hurt me. I bite and I punch and I roar. Ooh, a new smell. The wind brings a new smell. The air tastes of fur and musk and blood. Shapes move among the trees, but they are no creatures. They're people, like me. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by them. I think I know them. They seem familiar. It's like I met them in the past, but they were hidden. They close in on me. What do they want? Do you defend yourself? Do you keep them away? Or do you wait? Wait. I relax and wait for them, unflinching. They approach me and sniff the air. Their smells are overwhelmingly familiar. Once the people had sounds attached to them, but now I realize the sounds were not their true names. I look up and see no moon, only clouds and tangled branches. You're a good thumb. Yes, you are. Something changes. Something changed. I realized how tired I was. I stumbled. Nothing was okay. That was a fun sound. The night was full of stars. I opened my eyes. Confused, I opened my eyes. The forest around me was thick and dark. The tree trunks, wrapped tightly in dark-leaved ivy, were covered in ripples of lichen, where the vines hadn't taken hold. The thorny, leafless bushes at their base were overrun with nettles. The fungi radiated with a ghoulish, sickly green light. Dark, sponge-like mushrooms clung to the fallen trees. You try to breathe? Was it cold or something wrong? Something was wrong? Okay. I couldn't think straight, but I knew that something wasn't right. I looked down and saw my hands covered in a dark substance. I was naked. A sticky, glistening film of liquid was clinging to my skin. I could feel it on my face, in my hair. Blood. There was a whisper. The word resonated in my head. Garou. I knew what was coming. I remembered my dream and slowly lifted my eyes. Dead bodies were strewn around. There was a severed head right in front of me. I felt sick. I winced and touched it. Guess what? You have no willpower, so you have only one option. Feel sick. The face was contorted, the eyes bulging. The mouth opened, the tongue stuck out. It was obscene. I doubled over, retching. I recognized that face. It was one of the security guards, the one I'd argued with. The head watched me with reproach. Do you scream? Do you cry? Or do you crumple? You scream, yay. No! I let out a long, blood-curdling scream. The night swallowed it. The bushes rustled, and a moment later I saw Olga coming out from between the trees. She looked at me, at the head, at my face. She came closer and squatted beside me. It's okay, she patted my shoulder. You're a werewolf. I looked at her and blinked. You're a werewolf, by the way. Everything went black. That's the end of chapter 3. Now chapter 4, Lost in the Woods. Ooh, there are stats now. You are a homid. It claims it doesn't know your auspice, and you are a cub rank. Let's look at that again. You're a homid. You were born human. Easy enough. Auspice? Well, you're probably end up Thurge. You are a cub. You're nearly changed. And tribe unknown. You don't have one yet. The heart of the forest. The morning smelled of fur, earth, and the forest. Over the gentle snoring that filled the warm space under the low-hanging branches of an old spruce tree, I heard a squirrel. I was hungry. You can go outside. Okay. Saving that one willpower point. Stepped over the sleeping forms, I made my way outside. Alone, hiding in the tall grass, I sniffed around. The sky was bright, and the forest around me was dark and full of interesting smells. High in the trees, birds yelled about status, sex, and violence, as birds do. I was in danger. My memories started to come back, or something was wrong with that picture. Birds screaming about sex. What else did it talk about? Really? My virginity is danger. No, those birds can't do anything. I was in danger. I thought the thought was abrupt and unwanted like a siren. Something had happened last night. I pressed myself flat to the ground and pricked my ears. They wouldn't find me unprepared. A creature stirred in the bushes nearby, a tall, dark silhouette. A strangely familiar smell. Do you attack? Do you tense up? Or do you try to run away? Okay. I tensed up and watched the human as they looked around. Oh yeah, there you are, they said when they noticed me. It was time to get out of there. I spasmed. Suddenly, a feeling like a cramp or a spasm surged through me, and everything changed. I was Hamid, the human form. My body started resetting itself to the familiar shape, and it hurt. Bones broke and fused again. Muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then, panting and sweaty, I was human again. I hit the ground with my bare ass. Colors exploded. The morning breeze suddenly became cold, and I shivered. Ow. Confused, I looked at the person approaching me. We have prepared new clothes for you. Olga handed me a bundle that she took from her backpack. Better stay human for a while. They won't survive the change. Not until Lisa deems that you're worthy to learn the right. Took the bundle. Those birds, naked wolves hanging around. I snatched the bundle and started pulling the clothes on. Sturdy but comfortable boots, cargo pants, and a green hoodie. They fit perfectly. I thought about the previous night when I was raging through the forest, about how differently I experienced the world through wolf senses, and about the discomfort and confusion of changing shape. So, I was a werewolf. There was no denying it. I was no longer human. So, they made me a monster. Wait a minute. A right? Or I appreciated the help. Birds, man. Gotta watch out for those burbs. Did you mention a right? I raised an eyebrow. You mean magic is real? Okay, I'm a werewolf mage telling a game. Come on, people. You're a werewolf. Do you even need to ask? We stood there for a moment, tense and silent. I was wondering how one usually learned that they were a werewolf. So, but how come nobody knew about werewolves? Or I asked Olga about her story. Honestly, people don't believe in werewolves because, it freaks them out too much. I asked Olga. Olga. So, how did you, what a brilliant conversationalist I was. A werewolf? Oh, well, Olga ran her hand through her hair. I was born here. I always knew I was different. Me too? Or, werewolf? 10? That's not an answer. Unless you're talking binary, then of course it would be 2. You always knew you were a werewolf? I asked. I always knew I liked girls, silly. She shook her head and continued. So I went to study in Warsaw, and for a moment everything was fine. I met that really nice girl. Olga's past stories. Did she kill her, or I held my breath? Okay. I felt that there was a but coming and held my breath. We went partying one night and 3 dudes attacked us. When I came around, they were lying on the ground with their guts ripped out, and my girlfriend was nowhere to be seen. Horrible first date. She made a face, as if being a lesbian wasn't complicated enough. Olga does have some good lines in this story. And then I was curious what happened next. And then I was a brilliant student, got all those Erasmus scholarships, traveled across Europe, worked for all the NGOs possible, burned out, and decided to come home. It doesn't make any sense, it suddenly struck me. How come nobody knows werewolves exist? We protect the veil, was the answer. It's easy to convince humans that supernatural doesn't exist. They really want to believe that, and the delirium helps. Now they want to believe it exists, so yeah, well, it's turned around. You mean delirium as in the medical condition? I asked, remembering something that I'd read about acute confusional states. You'll have to ask Pat about that, but the gist of it is that humans are incapable of remembering that they saw a Krynos. She laughed. They panic, turn away, and instantly forget every time. Kind of like that one race of aliens in Doctor Who. As soon as you don't see them anymore, they don't exist. Then I realized something. Important. At some point, the rest of the party had awoken and joined us. The clearing was full of wolves. Best response ever? Fuck. And suddenly I remembered. I left the oven on. No. Fight or flight. The wolves are closing in on me. I saw an opening to escape. If I did, I could figure this all out on my own. Do you deny it and try to run away? Or do you accept the fact that you're a werewolf now and get some help? Acceptance. Acceptance is better because, you'd rather hang out with other people who've already been through your experiences. Hiding the bodies. The headless body was heavy. They said that as my first kill, it was my burden. It was my duty to take it to the barrows. You not want to do it? Gain that rage? I didn't kill him, and just deny that you did it. Or I got my shit together. I really should have put a language warning on this game. But I don't fucking care. Got my shit together. Okay. Willpower is impaired. I got my shit together, lifted the corpse, and threw it over my shoulder. We're Garou, and when we rage, people die. Olga stood by my side. He had it coming. She accompanied me, carrying the severed head in a bag. The others stayed behind, covering the tracks. I couldn't accept that I'd killed someone, or I focused on the walk. Yes, if you see anything cool, please clip it. Unless it's my singing, then try not to. I murdered a person. How do you live with that? We're at war, Maya. Death happens. The faster you get used to it, the better. The body was too heavy. You don't have any willpower, that's the only option. Haha. I kept dragging the body, but the burden was too much to bear. I was tired and hurt, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I looked at the body. All I really wanted, to say something, but I choked on my words. I curled up into a ball with my arms around my head. Well, it keeps you from giving the answer if you don't have the ability to answer it. And since you were at 0 willpower, you could use the willpower answer. That's the rules. I found out the hard way myself. I can't, I said, and then it was the only thing I could say, louder and louder, until I became a shriek. I can't! I can't! I can't! Olga sighed and kneeled beside me. You're a werewolf. Gaia's soldier. There's nothing you can't do. Get up. We have a world to save, and you have a legacy to fulfill and a debt to pay. She was right. I took a deep breath. She was right. I was here for a reason, and I had things to do. Goody. Twitching going off camera. I changed, or suddenly I knew what to do. Which will drop the willpower back down. See, we have an option now. One then. Choose the form of the destructor. So you get 4 options of how you want to change. You go Glabro, which is kind of a beastie looking human. A big old wolfie, a large wolf, or just wolf. I'm that normally. Well, that's what it was before I changed. 2. Even Glabro? It's just, ignore that bad pun. The pain was stronger than I had ever imagined. I felt my muscles spasm as they rearranged themselves. My jaw cracked and my mouth filled with blood. Yeah. I clenched my fists and claws drove into my palms. I screamed. When I rose, panting and sweaty, I was more than human. I was Glabro, wolfish, strong, scary. And it hurt. Get 1 more willpower back. The change hurt more than I expected. The world shifted. Not much, but enough. I felt my teeth get sharper. And my muscles stronger. I picked up the body. It was a lot lighter. Now, you were just stronger. We went on, but we weren't alone. I realized there were 2 shapes in the bushes on either side of the road. One bigger and dark gray. The other small and white. It's a good game. It really is fun to go through all of it. There are, I think, 20 or so different outcomes. Well, there's 5 different ways you can do the character, 20 different outcomes you can show up as. So it's really fun. Ah, my companions, I smiled. I see you've noticed our patrons. I remember them from the dream. Yeah, we know each other, I said, remembering my dream. We sort of met the other night. The 2 animals stopped in front of me in the middle of the path. We came here to teach the cub, said the wolf. She smelled of ash and tears. Was I hallucinating? No, you're just high. I couldn't believe what I saw. It made no sense. I felt as if my brain was short-circuiting, trying to interpret signals not meant for human senses. Was there really a wolf? Was it really a weasel? Weasel would be the smaller one. Of course, it really is a wolf. My eyes told me there was a wolf staring at me, but when I looked at it, I felt ash on my tongue. I heard a mourning howl so deep it reverberated in my bones, and I smelled fire. And when it talked, it was like the rustling of the leaves formed words in my mind. But hallucinations or not, they just wouldn't leave me alone. The weasel circled, and before I knew it, I could feel small claws on my leg, and then on my back, and then on my arm. It smelled of musk and electricity. And then it bit my ear. Little bastard. Try to shake it off, ignore it, or why would it do that? Can you ferret out an answer? Do they always do that? I asked, ignoring the spirit. Speak to me when I'm biting you, the weasel's electronic voice echoed in my head. Enough, the wolf growled. Or at least, that was what my brain decided to hear. I felt the weasel draw its breath. In the beginning, there was Gaia, a.k.a. Mother Earth, and she gave birth to a mighty breed of warriors. The weasel began. It sounded electronical, like a teenager reading a Wikipedia page over a voice chat. Let me try this. They were called Garou. They were werewolves and werewolfish, and that purpose was to protect Gaia. They failed, wailed the wolf. I looked at the weasel for advice, or I looked at the wolf. It was simply made by the system. I was born into it. I was a man before I even became a wolf. Sorry. Look at the wolf. There was danger everywhere, shrugged the wolf when I looked to her for advice. When time began, Gaia released 3 primal forces upon the earth. The Weaver, the Wild, and the Worm, the weasel continued. The Wild was an untamed force of life and creation. The cold, ruthless Weaver gave structure to the world, and the Worm destroyed what needed to be destroyed, creating balance. Were we creatures of the Worm? Were we creatures of the Weaver? Or were we creatures of the Wild? Weaver. Of course we are creatures of the Wild. So were werewolves creatures of the wild? I asked. An untamed force of life? Good answer. They were Gaia's children, the wolf snarled, born to herd and contain humans. So what went wrong? I can see something went wrong, smiled Riley. The Weaver grew too ambitious and trapped the worm within its lifeless web, the weasel continued. Confined and denied, the worm went slowly insane. Wolf wailed. Yes, wolf was whale, apparently. Now Gaia is dying, choked by the Weaver and eaten alive by the worm, wailed the wolf. And the wild is not the one you should fight, she snarled. You were born to protect it. Then it turned and led the way. It didn't look much different than other parts of the forest, until you noticed the mounds, that is. There was something about the flattened hills that drew my full attention. They must have been bigger in the past. I could remember, and I felt dizzy. Do you remember the 24th of September? This is June 22nd, during the day. Let's shoot real quick. Okay. Read Hamid. Okay, nothing else has changed. Condition healthy. Good. I can remember. A memory stirred in my mind. No, it wasn't a memory. It was a feeling anchored in my chest, akin to the taste of ash in my mouth and the smell of smoke. Longing, sadness, resignation. A sense of sacredness that filled me with a calm excitement. Oxymoron. And when I closed my eyes, I saw a fire burning in the darkness. Olga kneeled near one of the mounds and put her hand on it and whispered a few words. I saw the ground open slowly, like the mouth in the earth. I sighed. Let's do this. We put the body in the hole, as one does. We took the severed head and the body it had wrapped up in sheets and put them in the hole. It closed slowly, and I could swear I heard the trees nearby sigh in anticipation. They're hungry. The wolf howled, and I could feel the hair on my hands rise. Welcome to your new life, the talking weasel grinned. We have something else to show you. Do you run with him, or I had so many questions. Run with them. A vision quest. You are a cub, so you have special privileges, said the weasel. Pushka will grant you a vision. You must see to understand, said the wolf. Think carefully before you choose what to see. Do you wish to know your past and your family? Do you wish to know the present, the forest? Or do you wish to know the future, your destiny? No Pushka past, present, future. You want the present? Wait a couple more weeks and you got Christmas. Okay. The ever-changing paths. They told me there was an old wolves' den in the forest, a place abandoned long ago when the cubs were stolen. But knowing where it was and finding the way turned out to be two different things. I felt Pushka playing with me, twisting paths, blocking my way with bushes and dead trees, and then suddenly opening a new path that was straight and full of sunshine. Do you get tired of it, or do you push on? Do you get pissy, or do you play along? Okay, you push on. Determined, I pushed on. Yeah. Since the change, I had become acutely aware of how my body worked, and I remembered what humans were good at: running. Stubborn, relentless, long distance running. Not as fast as a deer, not as nimble as a wolf, but steady and without rest. So I ran. And then I was there. The old den hidden in the roots of a crooked pine. I crouched and looked into the hole. A sudden gust of wind brought with it almost imperceptible smell of wolf cubs. They do smell cute. I lay under the tree and closed my eyes. I could feel the sun, or I breathed in. Here comes the sun, da 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 da. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright, da 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 da. I can feel the sun on my face. The wind rustles through the leaves, and the air smells of sweet dew and greenery. I breathe it in. It fills me with peace and warmth. The ever-changing present. I close my eyes and extend my hands and feet. Feel my fingers dip into the thickness of the grass that covers the earth. I whisper, I am the grass. It whispers to me. I cover everything. A bird flies over the forest. The trees move their branches like green, undulating waves over an endless ocean. Yep, maybe undulating. The birds do it. Do you see trees or do you see sickness? You see trees of green, clouds of white. I see trees that are eaten by bugs. They desiccate and die. Do you see loggers or do you see foresters? You see a cake. Okay. Loggers. I see humans felling the sick trees to protect the healthy ones. Do you see foresters or do you see humans living in the forest? And why are there vapors rising from this wolf spot? Oh. See humans. I see a man sitting motionless against a tree trunk, and a little squirrel walking down to him, curious. I see squirrel. Okay. I hear the mournful howl of a lonely, heartbroken wolf somewhere in the forest. Look again, it says, and the smell of ash and tears overwhelms me. Do you look, or have you seen enough? Okay. Squirrels. So I look again. I see sickness. I see trees that are eaten by bugs. They desiccate and die. Do you see loggers, or do you see hunters? Or do you see squirrel? Okay. I'm just going to keep doing that now. It's funny. Humans cut down trees, but the bugs continue to thrive anyway. Do you see hunters, or do you see humans destroying the forest? These philosophical vision quests are pain sometimes. The forest tries to heal itself, but nobody notices the sickness. Humans turn the forest into a desert. I've seen enough. Unless there's no other option. Stinking humans. I've seen enough, I say. Spiritual. We all connected. Trees. Really? Get back on there. So, animals, humans, Garou. But to survive, you must define and defend your borders. Are you angry and scared? Or do you feel like a part of the forest? Yeah, it's my Xbox sometimes. Seriously. We're all connected. Beep. Well, forest, the world says to me. Let me work. So, I let it go, and I'm a tree, and a man, and a squirrel! Okay, I gotta stop doing that. The man opens his hand. There's an acorn there. The squirrel grabs it and runs away. I see the little girl laughing, delighted when she sees it. I opened my eyes. I opened my eyes and saw the wolf looking at me. Come with me, it is in your blood, she said to me. There is no one else to be my cub. Come to me, child. I will nurse you, and I will lick your wounds. We will kill together. We will feast, and we will be merry. The forest will grow. And I looked at her, and she looked at me. I looked at her, and perhaps for the first time, I saw her for who she was. Her pelt was marred with fire. Her eyes were smoking embers. Ash was falling from her heaving flanks. She sounds hot. Now, she looked old, ancient, seething with anger. She was morning incarnated, or she was the wolf from my vision. Two. She was the wolf from my vision. Which is true. She was one of the wolves from my vision, watching my grandfather from the darkness, waiting for the village to burn. But she was more than that. Was she also Pushka? Was she more than one wolf? Or was she the darkness? She was the darkness. All right, then. She was the darkness itself, lost in her grief, swallowed by mourning so intense that it warped everything it touched. Whoever she'd been before was gone. Only the need for revenge remained. At least, that was what I thought when I looked at her. The wolf mother looked back at me, and something in her eyes made me realize that she was helping my family for generations, and that my family used to serve her. Join me, she pleaded. Only you can understand me. Only you. Only you can prevent forest fires. I went to her, or I walked away into the forest. You walked to her. I went to her, and she accepted me, and I accepted myself. And I finally understood who I was. The wind howled, the trees shook their branches, and the humans looked at the forest in terror. The wind howled. One of us! One of us! A lone howl pierced the silence like a single ray of moonlight in the darkness. And then there was another one, and then another, and then another. Choir of voices, triumphant and joyful. I opened my eyes. 6 a.m.? Oh, yeah, I guess it does happen. So join them in howling, or werewolves just like me? So I think this might be the last question of this chapter. I don't know. I didn't hear my howl. That's weird. Oh well. Let's see. Why did I not hear the howl? Where is my howl? Weird. Hope you get some good sleep, Ryder. Okay, even open to any lurkers. This is your call to action. Do we howl? No? Oh, werewolf Zapushka. Just a no ring to it. And we got a high rage. That's freaking howl. Howling, going once. Going twice. Third time. Okay. I instinctively changed to join the choir. The pain was overwhelming. My spine cracked and twisted. My knees and ankle was broke, and I fell to the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My whole skin was on fire, rippling and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When I rose, panting and spitting blood, I was Hispo, with strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur. More than a wolf, scary and monstrous. My voice was unsteady at first, but soon I found my own note, a unique addition to the chorus. Well, hello there, Olga smiled at me, and welcome to the Sept. Still not my best howl. Let's see. Not sure if this is a good stopping point or not. It really isn't. Oh, there we go. A Garou of human ancestry, also the human form of Garou. That's not what I wanted. flame bouncing off my head. Here. Let's see, I've gone 2.5 hours. I'm honestly not sure if the game will let me just step out of this. Let's see. Anyone out there in Lurk wanting to do any more answering, or should I go ahead and kill it for the night? Saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand. Walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for a place called Ehaw Foss. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Ooh, werewolf of London. Ooh. Ooh, werewolves of London. Ooh. Keep catching myself singing. 67% of the way through. Oh, yeah, I guess we can back out of here. Cool. Well, might as well. Switch back over to chit chat. Chat. Oop, boom. There we go. Okay, well. I got pretty far this time. I'd like to thank Ryder and everyone else who came in. Your answers were brilliant. I haven't gone the violent route on this one before, so it's kind of cool. So, boom, okay, be good. See if I can find people to stalk. I mean, raid, yeah. Ooh, man, take-ups. Let's see. Who's on? Rather lovely plushy Vixen is on, but let's see. No one else is going to be playing this game right now. I don't guess anyone is anyway. I don't know. Any friends on? See the frog. Now, Fred recently made affiliate, so I guess we could raid them. I don't remember who Fiend for Hot Fries is. Anyone else on here? Chaplain Rex is on. You know what? Raid Frog. Now, if you don't know Frog, well, Fred the Frog, or Fred Frog Overlord, we can go see what they're up to. Right. If I could spell with the damn. Hey, where'd they go? Did that just go off? Right, they're still here. Okay. Make sure they're not going to vanish anytime soon, so it doesn't look really silly when I read them. Oh, they've been on for 2 hours as well. Okay, yeah, they're good. So, set up the raid for them. And I do have a raid message now, which is all kind of cool. It's raid dash follower raid F. That one. Did it come up? Yes, it came up. Cool. Okay. Story raid. Copy paste, do all that wonderful nonsense. And I hope I will see some of you tomorrow when I go back into reading Dracula. 9 o'clock as my usual streams. And yeah, I hope I will see you then. And, you know, have a good night or whatever time zone you happen to be in. Talk to you later. And let's see, we've got, the countdown hasn't started yet, but, well, you guys are ready, right? Cool. I'll see you over in Fred's chat. Talk to you later. Oh. As soon as it pops up on mine.